happened again. Golden State looked like a completely different basketball team without Steph Curry out there on the floor. Offense is hard to come by again. They do exceed 100 points for the first time in this series, but it does not matter. They could not get stops. It looked like a team who was gassed out there and just weren't giving enough effort, like a team in desperation mode trying to get their superstar back in the lineup. Warriors lose 117 to 110, fall down below 3-1 in this series. And to be honest with you, it looks like the season is over. But we will be live for Game 5 here on the channel. That's why you subscribe here at Warriors Today. Thank you so much. As we just passed 95,000 subscribers, we're less than 5K away from 100,000 subs here at Warriors Today. And we're going to be uploading daily Golden State Warriors videos all year long. Yes, the offseason, a ton of content. So subscribe and keep us tapped in as your number one source for Warriors content. Oh, man. Listen, there's a very, very easy way to determine who won this game. The Timberwolves hit 16 threes. The Warriors hit 8. And keep in mind, a couple of those came at the end of the game when things were wrapped up. The reserves were all in. Steve Kerr waved the white flag. At one point, I believe the Timberwolves were 15 of 28 from 3, and the Warriors were 5 of 16. That just can't happen. And we keep coming to the same conclusion over and over again. As that this team not only can't score, they look completely inept at even getting a good shot on the offensive end. I mean, they shoot an abysmal sub 30% from three-point range, and you know what? That's going to happen. You're going to have off shooting nights. But it just never felt like Golden State was comfortable on offense. Everything they got is fought for and clawed at. Like they almost have to grit their way to buckets. They can never get anything easy. They can never get a smooth, efficient jump shot creation. It's so difficult. And this is a roster problem at the end of the day. This comes down to not only Bob Myers, what he did way back when, but Joe Lacob, Mike Dunleavy, everybody constructing the Warriors roster as is. And I saw this tweet from my guy Stacking Dubs on Twitter. It says literally 90% of the roster is at least 3 of these qualities. Undersized for their position. Shoots under 35% from 3, which is way below league average already. Not a two-way player. We got a good number of those. One-dimensional guys. And poor finishers at the rim. Golden State has a bunch of guys who fit those categories on their roster. Too many if you want to go out and end up winning a championship in this league, and especially too many if your best player is going to be out and the only source of offense that you actually have. And you know what? The defense was dog shit tonight too. I'll be quite honest with you. Too many times I saw Julius Randle free run to the rim, Jaden McDaniels free run to the rim, Ant Edwards free run to the rim, Naz Reid, you want one, you got one. Doesn't matter. The Warriors look dead tonight. They gave it their all in Game 3. Jimmy gave you 33. Kuminga gave you 30 in that matchup. And that was the game that Golden State had to win. I said it time and time again. That was the one that Golden State had to have, and they just couldn't come out and win it. They were up 5 with 8 minutes left in that one. They were down 20 most of the fourth quarter in this game. And to be fair, they were up 60-58 at the half. They allow 70 points over the second and third quarters of this game, and that was just too much at the end of the day for Golden State to overcome. They couldn't get it done, and we got to talk about some of the performances like that we saw tonight. I'll start with what Draymond had to say here about not wanting Steph Curry to rush back despite Golden State facing elimination. He says, quote, "We don't need Superman. Play the long game. If he can, we know he will, but we got to figure out a way to win whether he plays or not." That's going to be tough to do, Draymond, when you're constantly turning the ball over. You're constantly not a source of offense. You're getting bitched around by Julius Randle, quite frankly, throughout this game and really throughout this series. He has sunned the Golden State Warriors, and Draymond has been nowhere to be found. I mean, I will say, to be fair, asking Draymond Green to kind of spearhead a comeback down 20 in the fourth quarter, asking him to launch a bunch of threes at volume, it's just not going to go well for you. And that's the spot that Golden State's roster is in right now. Like I said, they don't have any shot creation. And when Curry's not out there, the job gets 100 times more difficult. I could even say 1,000 times more difficult. And now they're down 3-1. And Draymond, he's just been atrocious this series. I'd argue on both ends of the floor. Jimmy, like I mentioned, just gassed. Just gassed. How much can you ask a 36-year-old recently injured pelvis player who just put up 33 points, scoring at will in Game 3, trying to will this team to victory, to do it right back again 48 hours later. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. And Jimmy, I will say, like, I would have liked him to be more aggressive in this game, but I understand him not. Like, the body just might not be able to handle it at this point. Only shoots 9 attempts in the ball game. Brutal. Buddy Hield couldn't get anything going. And I could commend Buddy for trying to get shots off the bounce, all that good stuff, but that's not the player that he is. He comes off pin downs. He comes, spots up for a three, catch and shoot guy in the corner, on the wings. Not somebody who's trying to shake up Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Jaden McDaniels off the bounce and create an efficient jump shot out of it. It's just not going to happen. It hasn't yet to this point, and he is not the player that we saw in Game 7 against Houston and Game 1 in this series. Now for the worst player in the Warriors roster. Yeah, not Jonathan Kuminga. No, we'll talk about him in a moment. But this guy, Brandon Podziemski. He couldn't have had a worse series to this point. Could not have had a worse series. Like, literally, historically bad from the field. Podziemski shoots another 3 of 14 tonight, and I had to bring this tweet over from my guy, Danny Ammerman, who said, Brandon Podziemski is shooting 9 of 40, 22.5% in this series in 4 games. Per the Associated Press, that's the worst of any player in a series on 35-plus shots since Pero Antic in 16% in 2014. In the Obama administration, there hasn't been a worse performance than Brandon Podziemski. He can't find the bucket. He can't finish at the rim. He doesn't get to the free throw line. He's done nothing for you offensively. And yes, he plays better when Steph's out there on the floor. So does everybody in the whole wide world. How about you just go get it, Brandon Podziemski? How about you show these guys that, yeah, it's a good thing that they didn't trade me. I'm back to where I was. Pods ain't an NBA player in the playoffs, man. He's been terrible. Terrible. Houston series, he was bad. This series, he's even worse. Can't buy a bucket. Can't buy one. Kuminga, look, the Warriors have had to change their offense, the way that they've been running around with this Curry injury. Because you need to get buckets somehow. Well, this is a bucket getter. Somebody can get downhill. Real hoops right here. 23.0 rebounds, 1 assist. You know, just chef's kiss. Had a couple of bad turnovers, like, couldn't shoot the 3 tonight. Look, JK has been as good as anybody has been for Golden State over these last few games. But guess what? What happens? They still lose. Even with the big performances, they still lose. And they still continue to get killed game in and game out by Julius Randle. 31 again tonight. 4 for 8 from 3. Anything he threw up was going in. But it doesn't mean the Warriors can't play better defense. Draymond, where you at? And if you get switched onto anybody else, literally virtually anybody else on the Golden State roster, it's buckets, it's fried chicken, see at the rim. Couldn't handle him. Couldn't handle Ant Edwards either. You have nobody to guard Ant. GP2, yeah, he can't guard Ant. Moses Moody, he's become a DNP. Their players at the top are just better than your players. And that's the reality. That's okay. That's an objective fact. The bigger picture here is that Golden State needs to figure something out with this roster and figure it out fast. Like I mentioned, those qualities that you do not want about your players. Undersized, bad shooters, one-dimensional, and they can't finish at the rim. So what the hell are they good at on the basketball court? It's not a whole heck of a lot. Golden State needs to make massive, massive changes this summer. I'm talking Kuminga, Pods, Moody. They could all be gone. Hield. They could all be gone. Something needs to change about this Warriors roster. But I could all be wrong. You tell me. What would you change about the Golden State Warriors roster? What would you add? Who would you trade away? Let me know your thoughts as the offseason is just one loss away. Golden State on the brink of their season concluding. Let me know what you guys think the Warriors should change on their roster down in the comment section. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We will be live for at least one more game this Warriors season. Wednesday, Timberwolves, Game 5 back in Minnesota. Can the Warriors keep their season alive? Only one way to find out. Subscribe and turn your notifications on. We'll see you guys all then. And as always, let's go Dubs.